Welcome everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the Ogre of Aptos, part 5. Now in 1964, when Ed had originally been arrested for the murder of his grandparents, to when he was released in 1969 on his 21st birthday, there was a definite change in society when Ed had gotten out. The world that he knew was not the world that he was accustomed to. He came from a world where people more or less dressed and acted like him. He wore these very heavy glasses, was very clean cut, and he was not used to what society was becoming at 1969. At 1969, the hippie movement was starting to develop and hit its peaks. And a lot of people his age were not clean cut. The men had very long and shaggy hair, was very diskempt. He basically something that he would describe as dirty or grungy. And a lot of the women not only had longer hair, but they would just kind of let it just hang out. He would talk that a lot of them would wear shorter skirts and would wear blouses or shirt that would show more cleavage. Something that Ed Kemper was definitely not used to, and this kind of played a part in him trying to find a social gathering or people that he could kind of identify with and talk to. Not to mention finding a girlfriend. Because a lot of these women that dressed like that, he kind of did not want to be around. He just didn't want to be around anything like that. And Clarnell, Ed's mother, she actually worked at a college. She was actually an administrative advisor in UCSC. And being that she was in a college, not only did she work there, but she kind of had a rapport in that college among the other females that went to the colleges as kind of like the campus mother. You know, a lot of the women adored her and she thrived off of that. Ed would go and later say that she would just put on this very nice fake image when she went to work and then literally just go home and completely unload on him. And Ed had actually went to her at some point and had asked her help to find a girlfriend. Now, most mothers that I know would have no problem doing this, but Clarnell, she had some very serious issues. It went all the way back to when Ed was a child. And she would sit there and not only tell his sisters, but encourage them to emasculate him and put him down and to just straight out do anything to just make him angry and belittle him. And at this point, she did the exact same thing, but differently. You see, Clarnell had a very good reputation of saying whatever to men to get a certain reaction out of men. And once they would sit there and get angry to the point that they would snap, then she would twist her words around and say, oh, look at you being a big man, hitting a defensive woman. A lot of people would go and testify that a lot of men that she did this to would just storm off, punch walls. Like, she was very good at manipulating people. And a lot of times at this point when Eddie came for a girlfriend, she would only sit there and introduce him to women that, in her opinion, were not attractive. Or if they were not attractive, they were socially awkward or socially outcast. People that she made an attempt to humiliate her son and say, this is the best you deserve because you don't deserve anything. Ed would eventually, try to find a girlfriend on his own, and he was successful at some point. He had began dating a 17-year-old, and they dated for about 11 months. And around 1962, she called it off. And this is where the arguments, the fighting, the belittling, the abuse finally came to a head. And Ed started a very dark plan.